and help more people of Paco's. I told my husband, I'm gonna go and work for Chick-fil-A. It was not really the moment for me to have fun. It was the moment for me to really excel in life. It's okay to fail, because when you fail, you learn from it.
What made you want to go and start a restaurant? From South Bend to Evansville and everywhere in between, this is Get In, the show focused on the Hoosier State and the incredible stories happening here today. I'm Nate Spengel, founder of Get Indiana, and I will be your host for today's conversation. Today, I'm joined by Seni Gonzalez, the founder of Paco's Taqueria, an authentic Mexican restaurant that has expanded across Indiana since opening in 2014. Seni was born in Mexico and moved to the U.S. at the age of 14, settling in Chicago before eventually coming to Indiana, where she pursued her dream of bringing authentic Mexican flavors to the Midwest. Her inspiring story, combined with her passion for food and community, has helped make Paco's Taqueria a local success, and we're excited to see what the future holds. We're gonna have a fun conversation today. Seni, welcome to Get In.
Thank you, Nate, for the invite.
I'm super pumped. So the original location is over on Keystone and Fall Creek.
Yes.
And I drove by it like 10 or 15 times when I first moved to Indy, and I was like, there's just something about that place. Like it's like right across from R&R, which is also like a really good wing spot there. And I was like, you know what? I need to stop in there. And finally, this might have been like a year after I moved here back in 2019. Someone was like, let's get lunch at Paco's. And I was like, all right, I'm in. And it's phenomenal. Like, I don't know if anyone is, if you haven't had it yet, like you need to stop by. It is so good. And then kind of like through the pandemic and through COVID and all these fun, like I saw, a ton of growth for you all, right? And like new signage up and new paint job on the building and all of that. I'm like, dang, things are rolling. So I'm pumped to get into this. But before we get into where you are currently and the plans for the future, let's talk a little bit about your background and how you ended up in Indiana. Because, you, as we said, you were born in Mexico.
Yes.
And then when you were 14, you came to Chicago.
Yes, that's right.
What brought you guys to Chicago?
My aunt lives, in the suburbs. And I came with her. She got a baby, and I came to help her with the baby, and supposedly to start school. Ended up that I came here to Indiana to live with one of my uncles here. I guess by that time I was 15 when I moved here to Indiana.
So you moved to Indiana when you were 15?
Yes.
Did you leave your family behind in Mexico?
Well, not really. Actually, I got raised mostly by my grandma. So we always came here to United States for vacations to visit the family. At that time, they sent me here to Indiana and stayed with my uncle. My grandma, she will come and get me at that time. I ended up staying here for a longer time. And that's when
were you in
things
Indianapolis?
changed a little bit. Yes, I was
What
here
part
in Indianapolis.
of what part of the city?
West Side.
West
I was
Side.
living in the West Side.
Yeah. What high school?
I didn't went. I went to Northwest and
Northwest, the
Northwest.
Space Pioneers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Yes, and I got kicked out.
No.
I got kicked out because I kind of. At that time when I started going to high school, I had a baby at that time. I became mom at a very young age, and I was like, okay, I gotta go to school. And I lied on my birth certificate. I apologize for that, but I really want to go to a school, and they find out that I kind of lie on my certificate. And I was very sad, of course, because I really wanted to finish high school. And I started going to the Excel Center. It's the after-hours school.
Oh, man.
Yes.
That was, you're 15, so what, freshman or sophomore?
I was, actually, at the time, I was 18.
You were 18?
Yes.
And they found out, like, hey, you're not...
Yeah, you're not 16. So they find out because they called to my school back in Mexico, and of course they find out that age.
Wow.
So I start going to Excel Center.
So you have a child and you're 18 trying to finish high school and you have to go to an after-hour school. Are you working? What else are you doing with your free time?
I got married very, very young, as I mentioned. I was helping my ex-mother-in-law grocery store. Their family is from El Salvador, Central America. And I was helping her at that store, and I was mostly at home with my son. Yes.
How old is your son now?
He's 24.
That's so awesome. Okay,
Yes.
that's really cool. And we're gonna get. I've doing my research on social media, right? Like, definitely rock star mom. Like always talking about your kids. So you're how old at the time? 18, 19?
I was at that time I was 18. I got my baby at the age of 16.
16. So
Yes.
2-year-old finishing up high school. How long did it take you to finish school?
I didn't finish because
To this day?
to this day I haven't finished. Let me tell you, yes, I haven't. Don't I kind of feel embarrassed, and at the same time it's like, well, you know what? I've been taking programs. I've been doing my own growth, my own education programs. I've been in a school. I've been like, okay, is that kind of like a long story? But so I went back to school, to the Excel Center to finish. And I was working at Radio Latina. I was sales executive there. So at that time, I was a single mom of 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, I was actually the third top salesperson in Radio Latina at that time.
What's the company?
Radio Latina, Continental Broadcast, Radio Latina 100
Oh,
points.
so you're selling
Yeah.
you're selling ads on the radio.
Yes.
So like who's advertising on Radio Latina?
Guanajuato store. I believe you
Yes.
know Guanajuato.
Oh, yes.
You know their tacos too.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Guanajuato, many like Toyota, auto dealership, and many companies.
And you're the number 3 salesperson
Yes.
for all of that?
For some time, I was the third. Yes, I was the third.
So you're working in radio, you're
Yes. Mm-hmm.
a mother of 3, and you're trying to finish school. That's a lot to balance.
It was kind of a lot. And so I was doing great with my sales. And my boss one day called me and he was like, hey, Seni, Bart Simpson, that I love that man. He gave me like a big opportunity for my kind of like professional growth. And he said, Seni, your sales are going down. What is going on? And I was like, well, I started the school and I'm just trying to stay focused on everything, the kids, the school, and of course the sales. And he was like, well, your sales are going down. You have to think, or either like you cannot provide to your family or you stay focused at school. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Because I have no family here in Indiana. I was here by myself with my kids at the time. And I was like, okay, well, I guess the school has to wait.
School goes to the back. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't. You have the kids. You can't.
Yes.
You put them to the back burner, right? And then you
Yes.
have to provide for your family, for yourself, for everything. So
Yes.
yeah, the natural like one to get pushed to the back burner is school because you have to go and pick your sales back up and work.
Yes.
How long were you with that company?
5 years.
5 years. So
Yes.
that was what year to what year?
2009 to 2014
14.
when I opened Paco's.
Okay,
actually.
so
Yes.
you were working in radio, selling broadcast or selling
Yes.
advertising through radio broadcast. What made you want to go and start a restaurant?
As I mentioned, I was helping my ex-mother-in-law in her grocery store. Then after that, I guess she saw something in me that one day she told me and the father of my kids, you guys have to think about your future, and I'm thinking to give you guys a business, and the business is about this. She bought the business and she handed the key to me. And she said, well, Seni, you're going to take care of the business. And I was only 18 at the moment. And I was like, okay, it's fine. I got it. Like, it was so normal for me. I didn't, like, overthink, or I was not even scared.
What was the business?
It was a Western wear clothing store.
Okay, Western wear?
Yes.
Heck yeah.
Hats and everything.
Yeah, some
all that.
boots
Yes,
maybe? All right,
yes.
okay. Where was it at?
It was on Lafayette Road and 38th Street. Well, on the west side.
Is that like the Lafayette Square Mall area,
Yes.
like right in there? Okay, so you're 18, you're running that store, and that was before you went to
Radio Latina,
So
yes.
that was your first kind of experience as a
Yes.
business owner. How did that
Yes.
go?
It went amazing. I got the opportunity to grow the business. Things were, over the years, went a little bit with challenge at the marriage, and we ended up separating. After some time, I handed the key to the father of my kids, and I started cleaning houses. Like for probably like 2 weeks, I was there cleaning houses, and of course, it was a little bit different. I like it, and I love it because it make you like also realize like a lot of things, like, hey, what I get to do, what I really want to do. 2 weeks later, I quit. And after that, a friend of mine that he met me when I was having the Western wear clothing store, he told me like, hey, so we are hiring a DJ for Radio Latina. And I was like, okay, I don't think I have the voice to be a DJ, but you know what? I mean, I can apply for it. And he helped me to get a meeting with Bart Johnson, the director of Radio Latina. And I came to the interview. Bart said, well, you hired. And I was like, okay, how much I'm going to make? And he said like $8 an hour. And I was like, well, I don't think I can make that because I have 3 kids. I have to provide for them. It was not really the moment for me to have fun. It was the moment for me to really excel in life. And my friend Rafael, he said, well, we don't get her to be on sales, in the area of sales, because we need some people there. And my boss said like, okay, yeah, because my friend said like she used to have a clothing store and she knows how to do sales and Mike can help. So they gave me the opportunity. I last 5 years there. It was a great platform for me. It helped me a lot to develop that a little bit more of the professional part, but also the network of meeting great people and amazing people. I help people to grow their business. I grow myself. It was just beautiful. The path, that experience was very beautiful for me.
And so you came in there thinking you were interviewing for a DJ job. $8 an hour to be the the voice of Radio Latina, and then you end up walking out of there as a salesperson.
Yes.
With like, I mean, when you run your own business, you're ultimately like a salesperson, right? Like you're sales, HR, marketing, you're the whole 9 yards. But now you're out there talking to these business owners and marketing departments or whatever to get them to spend money with you all.
Yes.
And then so 5 years of that seems like a crazy opportunity to be given, right? Where it's like you come in there for a DJ job. Like, what do you think the reason that they decided to give you the opportunity was?
I think it was because of my friend Rafael. He said like, oh, she has experience on sales. She used to have her own business selling clothing. But I think it's more than that. It's like people can notice. People can notice your body language, your way of thinking. People can notice exactly where you at, what kind of you want, and especially your with that personality. People see it like, oh, this person has some potential, we can help. And I feel like it is like that in life. If people notice something different about you and you really have that mindset, people is there to help you to achieve some things.
And they're willing to take a bet on you, right?
Yes.
Where they're like, hey, like whatever it is, whether it's DJ or salesperson, like, we want Seni on our team.
Yes.
We think she's going to be a rock star. Wow. And what did that opportunity mean to you? Like, what were you were cleaning houses.
Yes.
You're like, no, this isn't what I want to do. What were like, it was go do this, or like, what other options did you have?
At that moment, I didn't really have, that is a very good question, because usually when I do podcasts, I don't get these questions asked. It was not a lot. It was actually the moment when the Latinos, we were going through a hard time here in Indiana because we didn't have the license. That people that we were undocumented at that moment. So I didn't even have my license, my driver's license. It was not much at the moment, but I guess God put you in the path where you have to be. It's always like that. Everything is so perfect.
It's like amazing how it works out like that, right? And it's like, it just worked out the way it was supposed to work out. And then you were a top sales producer for 5 years. Yes. And then how do you get to the, like,
it took me some time. It was not on that 5 years, but my first year I made like 11,000, which was nothing for a single mom. It
Like
was
you
very
brought home
little.
$11,000.
The first
I mean,
year.
$8 an hour might have been more than that. Oh,
Probably. But you know what? The second year, I made like 3-4 times more. And
which had to feel pretty good.
Yes. And then I kept growing a
Especially,
lot.
this is like late 2000s, early 2010s. It's like radio is good, but it's also not like, it wasn't like you're selling, like it's like radio is slowly on a decline. We had Jeff Smulyan, the founder of MS Communications.
Okay.
He was on and he talked about this like progression of radio where it was like it's not like you're selling in the radio heydays in the 1990s. It's like, it's still a hard thing to learn to do.
Yes.
And so you do that for 5 years.
Yes.
And where does the idea to start a taqueria come from?
Well, I was thinking again, like, what I'm going to do. I need to build a future for myself and for my kids. And this is very beautiful. One morning, I don't remember months before, somebody came to me because I was always having the mindset of having my business again. And I talked to friends like, hey, we should open a business. We should do something.
And a lot of people, oh, I have this great business idea, yada, yada. But it's like getting to the actual action part is the hard part.
It is. And I remember my friend Rayo. We call him, his name is Israel, but we call him Rayo. And I was like, hey, we should invest together. And he was kind of interested in investing. And we went to see some places and okay, probably a restaurant, probably something else. Somebody told me about this location on Keystone and Fall Creek, that it was a taqueria that the owners were trying to sell it. I was like, one morning I woke up. I didn't put attention when this person, I don't even remember who told me about this location. And one morning I woke up, I said, well, today is my day. Today I'm gonna look for my future. Today. So I went to Radio Latina, I checked my emails. Then right after that, I went to my car and I started driving to Keystone and Fall Creek. And I was like, well, I don't have the address of the taqueria, but I'm going to find the taqueria. I started driving, I went to the corner on Keystone and 44th, and I saw this taqueria. And I was like, this must be it. It's this one. So I parked, I went inside, and it was kind of cold. I think it was like February, almost by the end of February. I saw a lady as a cashier, and I asked the lady, are the owners here? And she said, no, the owners are not here. What do you need? And I said, well, I heard that you guys are selling the business, and I am interested on buying it. And she said, well, I am the owner. And she grabbed a piece of receipt and she put her number in the bag and she said, call me tonight. So I called her that night and she said, well, I want this amount of money for the business. And I said, well, I just have half of it. Is there any opportunity that I can give you monthly installment payments? And she said, yes, let's do it. Literally, like 10 days later, I took off. I take ownership of Pacos.
You was like, you know what? I'm going to buy this from you. I don't care.
Yes.
Like, I don't know the books,
I
whatever.
Did,
like,
no,
no,
I didn't even ask. Well, I did ask, but at the time I didn't have that awakeness of, okay, I'm going to do my plan and it's going to take me a month or 6 weeks or whatever to see the financials and see if I can make it.
Do your due diligence and all that.
Exactly. I did none of that. I just asked for that daily sales and that's it. We make that document, that legal document, and the same day that I quit Radio Latina, I took over Paco's.
And,
yes.
And just like you show up on day one and you're like,
yes.
How long had the business been around?
10 years now.
10 years. Well, how long had it been around before you took it over?
Well, it was actually the first Taco Bell here in Indiana or Indianapolis.
It used to be a Taco Bell.
Yes, it used to be a Taco Bell, and then Mr. Dan, and then I believe a Latino took over and had a taqueria there. I believe it was for 6 months. And then this lady that I bought it from, she was 9 months in the business.
Oh, so she had only owned it for 9 months?
She only owned it for 9 months.
So it was kind of like this revolving door of different ownership. Had it always been called Paco's?
It's always been called Paco's, and it has a story as well.
JC Hart Company is your answer to navigating the apartment rental journey. With almost 50 years of creating enjoyable living experiences in Indiana, you'll be sure to find your new home sweet home. You're going to find 30 communities in the best areas Indiana has to offer. Hamilton County, downtown Indy, Bloomington, just to name a few, along with 5 brand new luxury communities. Visit homeisjchart.com/Nate to find their list of locations and reach out to one of their many dedicated leasing agents for a personalized tour. Tell them Nate sent you and they're going to take good care of you. Looking for a career in property management? You'll also find a list of open positions on their website, along with all the reasons why JC Hart is named one of Indiana's best places to work. Want a sneak peek into life as a JC Hart resident or associate? Be sure to check them out on Instagram at homeisjchart or visit homeisjchart.com/Nate. One more time, home is JC Hart. Oh, yes. Well, I guess we have to know the story.
Absolutely. When I took over in the legal document that I can't change the name because I was making payments. And she said, until you pay me, then you can change the name. So it took me a year to pay her the whole month. And I was like, okay, in a year I've been doing all this and people already know me. I'm like getting more customers. I have, my grandpa is Paco. My uncle is Paco. And I have like 5 cousins that are Pacos. And I was like, it's meant to be. I'm just going to leave it like that. So that's how we lived in it.
That's fate too, right? It's like some of your family members are like, that's so cool. And she was like, yeah, but we don't want you to change the name just in case like you don't end up paying this off and I got to take it back. And she already put all this work into Paco's too. And like you get a year in, you're like, you know what? This is a pretty good brand. Pretty decent brand awareness, I feel like, around the north side of Indianapolis.
Yes.
Wow. So you quit Radio Latina.
Yes.
And then the next day, same day, I started at Paco's. I spoke to a friend of mine, well, not even weeks before. Immediately when I spoke to the lady and she said, yes, I went to talk to one of my friends that he had the experience of working in a restaurant. And I was like, hey, do you think you can help me for some time? And he said, yes, I can help you to work. And I kept that cook that it was working with the former owner. So I started with them too. And myself, I was the cashier. So you have your friend that has experience.
Yes.
You, and then the cook from the previous.
Yes.
Okay, so the three of you are just in there every day?
Yes, we were working every day, but I noticed in a week, that my friend, he was kind of like taking some product from us. And I spoke to him like, hey, you're not allowed to bring your big backpack because I noticed something. And he got very mad and he said, well, if you don't let me, I'm not going to continue coming to work. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? Okay, well, you got to leave. So I fired him.
So week 1, you fire your friend who had the restaurant experience.
Yes.
So then it's you who has no idea, not no idea, but like you don't have experience.
No experience.
And then the cook. What's the cook's name?
Jose Luis.
Jose Luis? How long did he work there?
He worked for probably, I would say 8 months probably with me.
So you two for 8 months, did you go hire someone new?
Me and Jose Luis, we were working and we were working hard. Every single day, 7 days a week, no days off.
From what time to what time?
Around 8 a.m. to 10, 11 p.m. every single day. And Jose Luis, he used to like to drink. It was a little bit hard because actually we were working for a month and a half. We were working great, amazing. And at the month and a half, I got the opportunity to hire a part-time cook. And I hired this cook. One day, Jose Luis, he didn't show up. Nate, I decided to open with a part-timer cook that he didn't have experience on my business. I decided to open that day. We went to the back. We started preparing everything. It was 10 in the morning. I turned the sign on, unlocked the door, I prepared myself because I was the only cashier, and we were working. And I used to have those registers. I always talk about this because this is very impactful story for me. Those registers that you can buy in Costco or Sam's. And I was taking orders by hand. My kitchen is open, so you can see how we cook, and also you can order. So we are very close. The cashier and the cook were very, very close working. So I was putting the orders. It was the first day that we had so many clients, so many customers. It was the very, very first day that it was like many people inside of Paco's. And I was taking orders. I was so happy, so excited. And I put the orders in the hood, and I noticed that cook was not there behind me cooking, but I kept taking orders. And I thought like, oh, he's in the back preparing something. And I noticed that time passed by kind of longer. And I was like, okay, let me go to the back and check. I went to the prep area. He was not there. I went to the walk-in cooler, and he was not there. And I looked to the back door, and his apron was next to the back door. And I was like, how am I going to do this? I started crying and crying and crying with a pain in my heart. And I was like, God, this is so hard. Why? I'm just here as a single mom of 3, trying to make things happen. Like, why is happening this way? I was asking God, of course. I was questioning, and I calmed myself. I kind of cleaned my tears, and I went to the front, and I was crying again. And I was telling the customers, like, oh, this is what happened, and we don't have no one who can cook. I have to give you your money back. I give them all their money back. I went to the front. I locked the door. And I went to the corner, and I sat, and I started crying again. I was like, why this is so hard? I cried so much that day. I was thinking like, how I'm going to do it now on? I have this business. I have the product, but I don't have no one who can cook. And I can cook and be as a cashier.
Like, you can't run the whole thing by yourself.
No. I cried so much. I went home. It was the very first day that I went home early, and I got the opportunity to see my kids early. Of course, I didn't tell them nothing. That night, I took a shower, and I was taking a shower, and I was thinking, okay, tomorrow is another day. I got this. Tomorrow, I show up. And Jose Luis, he showed up.
Like, thank goodness. Oh,
yes.
Dude, you won't believe the day we had yesterday.
Yes. So I spoke to him. Of course, he did it again, but he did it when I had more cooks.
You're like, hey, it's really important. I need you to show up. Like we're
yes.
screwed if you do not show up.
Well, actually, when he did it again, this is my first time saying this as well. I went to his home, and I was looking for him, like, honestly, because I was having only one cook, and it was me, and it was him, and he didn't show up. And I was like, I told Sergio, start like preparing everything. I'm going to look for him. So I find out his address, and I went to his.
You said, "Hey, get your ass to work, buddy. We
need you.
Like this, yes. We're a team here."
Yes.
Like, I think that the mindset there, you don't have a cook. Like, especially on a day when like people are rolling in, you're feeling so good, and you're like, I can't even make this food for you.
Yes.
Like, that had to be so hard.
It was.
And the next day, right, the little bit of redemption, and then talk to me about that. That's 2014. Talk to me about that journey from 2014 to 2019 when things started to expand a little bit.
After that, actually, probably like another month, I got the opportunity to hire Sergio. Sergio is a man. He became like my uncle from Ciudad de Mexico, and he had the experience with tacos. So he became like a family to me, and then he became my right-hand side. And we start changing the recipes and the menu, making a lot of changes at the location. I was doing I was doing $80 sales on Sundays. $80 sales.
80
$80 sales.
Like only $80?
Yes.
Like you were opening up to make 80. I thought you were saying like just $80.
80 Sundays. Yeah, at Sundays they were $80 sales on Sundays.
And you're paying out a cut, like
Yes.
you're losing money on Sundays.
On Sundays I was losing money. Yeah, but some friends I at the moment I told my friends like, oh, we're selling like very little, and they were like, oh, you should close and come with us and have fun on Sundays. And I was like, well, if I close on Sundays, I'm gonna go with my kids. I'm gonna stay with them, but I'm not planning to close. I am not, because I know we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it, and it takes time. So I continue, of course, opening every single day until we're line of people outside trying to get to make the order.
What year was that? Where you started to get like long lines and everyone wanted to get some tacos?
It was like a year later.
So this would be 2015?
Yeah, but it was a mess. It was a mess because I can't only do a lot, right? I was buying the product like 3-4 times a week, and my Honda I was saying the other day 97 Honda, but it was 2007 Honda Accord. I was going to Restaurant Depot and get all this product, put it inside of my car 3-4 times a week. I was paying the bills. I was kind of doing the accountant part. I was the cashier. I was doing a lot. We ended up doing great, and last year we sell millions of dollars, and it's just been beautiful.
In 2023?
2023.
Millions of dollars.
Yes.
From $80 on Sundays to now a year of doing millions of dollars in sales. That's incredible.
Yes.
Like that's and from the moment of you look out back and there's just an apron sitting there and your only cook is gone.
Yes.
To now you guys are thriving with multiple locations, a food truck. Like it's been super cool to see. What do you think really helped influence that growth?
That cook experience, leaving my kids, the cook experience, leaving me. Leaving my kids, my 3 kids by themselves for a year. Mama was not there. That makes the story of Paco's like more stronger. And then we got like broke in the first year 4 times.
4 times? 4 break-ins?
Yes, and I didn't have the money to buy the glasses for the door or for the windows. I know the insurance covered it, but a month later. So it was like a big moments for Paco's where I was like, okay, now I'm gonna do this. And the second or the third year, I think it was more like the third year, second or third year, I had only $164, and I need $5,000 for product, and I only had $164, and I was like, I'm gonna go to Restaurant Depot and I'm just gonna buy just a few things, and again, tomorrow is another day. And so I feel like all that it makes me to have really like, it's worth it, because if I was able to excel this kind of way and people start loving our tacos and me changing recipes, adjusting, even though I had a mess, when I'm telling you about the mess, a mess of the culture, especially with us Latinos, we are very not organized. And our Latino people is very hard-working people, but at the same time, they come for the check. They don't really see the vision of the business. Like
it's like they work at a restaurant. They're not trying to build a restaurant empire. Mm-hmm. I see that. And that's a lot with hourly employees, right? Yes. Where it's like you're trying to harness and build this culture of a team. Like, hey, we can go like take the world by storm and take the state by, and like, expand all these locations. And how you do that is by showing up every day and like working right now, because there's this future payoff.
Yes.
Well, so talk to me about the hyper growth, right? Where you get to 2019 and things are going well enough to open another location.
Yes.
Pandemic hits, DoorDash, Uber Eats, all that fun stuff. Like take me through the journey of like growth of Paco's Tacos?
We were doing great. We were doing amazing. And then COVID hit. I made a...
Did you only have one store when COVID hit?
Yes.
Okay, so you
had
had one location.
One location.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were doing amazing, by the way, just to be that store. And COVID hit, and I was like, okay, so that huge mentality. I know I wanted to grow, but I didn't have at that moment the mentality that I have right now, the vision that I have for Paco's. I had that feeling within me of, yes, we can make it big, but I didn't really have that huge vision. And COVID hit, and I made this meeting with my son that he's been helping me for so long. Actually, it's Luis, the guy that you've been talking with, Sergio. The guy who
this is like your like executive team. It's like you, kind of. Your son, and Sergio.
Sergio, yes. Sergio, he was a taquero. Like nothing to do with the professional part. None of that.
Like he just makes tacos.
Yes, that's all.
Yes.
So that was my team. I'm very proud of it. And I was like, okay, we have to make adjustments. So Sergio, now we have to, like, the time that we take to give the tacos to our clients, it has to be reduced. And now we're gonna do it this way. And I put a bunch of notes, and my son, he understood at the moment like what kind of to do. But also my husband, he also helped a lot on understanding more of the part of DoorDash and Uber Eats and Grubhub.
And this is COVID 2020. Because were you on it before or no?
I'm sorry?
Were you on like Grubhub and DoorDash and Uber Eats before?
No, I was not. I was actually planning to work with them, but I didn't. And when that COVID happened, I was like, okay, we gotta go with them. We have to start working with them. And we were working immediately with them, and I made those adjustments immediately. And after that, I was already with a plan to open in the second location, actually. We already had the place. I was doing the renovations in the place. One day, the health department called me and said, well, Seni, they kind of knew me because their office, the health department office, is very close, like 2 minutes from Paco's. And she said, hey, Seni, so we're gonna have to do the diligences that we have to do to really advance on your plan to open sooner because people is gonna need your food. And I was like, oh, okay, perfect. So,
well, that's good. So instead of usually it's like, hey, all this red tape and things, are like, hey, no, we need to get this going because people are gonna
immediately. Yes.
Wow.
So they also helped, and we start like just growing at Paco's more and more and more.
Can you give me like a relative like scale? Like COVID hits and like how much did the sales grow during COVID?
It was 100%.
You did, so this is 2020.
I believe 105% we grow.
And how much of that was DoorDash, Uber Eats versus coming into the store?
So I guess that helped us that people were still coming. We're trying to leave people outside and put them 6 foot on distance. And
if anyone has seen the store, it's like you could probably fit at 6 foot distance. You could probably fit 3 people in there. Maybe
it's
was not
probably
huge.
Like 5 people inside, and then another 15 people outside waiting to take their order. But yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest also, like DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub, they kind of took over. And just to let you know, 2 years, 2022, I think it was 2021 or 2022, we paid all these Grubhub, Uber Eats, DoorDash, $1,020,000 in just commission.
Wow. So, because I was going to get into this, right, where it's like, it was really good for COVID, right, because it kept your doors open, but then you start to get into it, and it's like, you're selling a $10 taco, and they're taking, $3 or $4 of it, and that commission, and you're paying $1 million.
Yes.
Like, Paco's Taco, because how many locations did you have at that point?
Only 2. You
had 2 locations, and you're paying over $1 million to DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats. That's crazy.
Yes. It was
like what percent of, like, let's say if you make $10 all through there, like how much do they take?
They take around that 30%, 35%.
Which is a big margin because
It is.
in food, there's already not a huge margin.
It's a good margin. Restaurant business is a very kind business. It is hard. It is hard. It's super. I think it's one of the hardest business to do, but also is a very kind business.
Because it's so competitive. The days of like there's only one taco place, and because I can, I don't go to necessarily just my neighborhood Mexican restaurant. It's like I can go, 10, 15 minutes away, whatever. So it's like you're competing a lot. Like I think in the relative neighborhood there, right, you have, because I would say like yours is very specific, like Taqueria is different than like a Luciana's or what's the one over in Broad Ripple, like that's really, it's fire. I can't think of what it's called, but like, I go there and like, oh, I'm going to get like 3 tacos, which are amazing. Like we cannot overstate it more that the tacos are phenomenal there, but it's competitive.
Yes.
Like very, very. And I know, so going through COVID though, sales are still growing. Margins are getting eaten up a little bit. I mean, you're doing well enough to open a couple more locations, right? So give me the timeline of where the stores, when you opened them and where the stores were opened at.
I opened Paco's, the second location on 2020, 2023.
Where was the second one at?
The second one is on the close to South Side. It's Thompson and Emerson.
Thompson and Emerson? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's way south.
Yes.
Right? Like down almost towards Greenwood? Mm-hmm. What made you want to open one there?
I was just driving by there and it was nothing there. Nothing like quick service like us. And I thought that it was kind of like a good location for us.
Okay.
There. And it's been okay. It's been pretty decent.
Is it hard where they were kind of far away? Like, that's probably, 20, 25 minutes apart?
Yes.
Is that hard to, like, run 2 restaurants that are not that close to each other?
No, not really.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
Okay, so you got second one down there at, like, just south of 465?
Yes.
Okay. Location 3?
Location 3 is on Michigan and 86 in Michigan Road.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's over, like, kind of Brebeuf High School?
Just across the street.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, I've seen that one. And what year was that one?
23, yes. So last year.
Okay, and then the next location...
The next location is just across from the fashion mall. It was actually a previous food business we took over, and it was at the end of, it's going to be a year actually, December last year, 2023.
Huge thank you to our friends at Greek's Pizzeria. Since 1968, Greek's has been serving up delicious pies all over Indiana, from Fort Wayne to Crawfordsville down to Bloomington and everywhere in between. Greek's Pizzeria is all over the state. You need to go check out the video I posted of Mike Cole. Now, Mike owns the Greeks in Zionsville. He ran the Mill Race Marathon in Columbus and broke the world record for fastest marathon while holding a pizza. It was a spectacle. It was super awesome. The man crushed it. He ran a 3-hour and 15-minute marathon while holding a pizza. That's faster than I run my normal marathon. It was an insane feat to witness. Give yourself a break from making dinner tonight. Pull out your phone, go to GreeksPizzeria.com and find the store nearest you. Order a large pepperoni. You're going to be a hero for your significant other, your kids, whoever they are. They're going to love you. There's a reason they've been in business for 55 years. They know what they're doing when it comes to pizza. Go check out GreeksPizzeria.com. Yes. Yeah, right up there by Keystone Fashion Mall. Yes. Okay, and what's been... the biggest lesson through opening, and then you also have the food truck. That kind of when did the food truck open?
It was 2022.
Okay, that's cool because I think food trucks are hot, and you can pull them up anywhere. So that's how I originally kind of like got really plugged in with you all, was when we did First Pitch Fest downtown at the White River State Park. You guys were like really quick to respond and like, oh my gosh, yes, we want to come be part of this. So it was awesome.
Yes.
So now you have 4 locations in a food truck. Mm-hmm. What's different from running 4 locations versus, when it was just like the one shop on 38th and Fall Creek?
Well, it's a lot. Is different, especially I believe with the vision that I have for Paco's is very different.
Well, talk to me about that. What's your vision for what Paco's can be?
I don't know how long it's gonna take this, but I want to be in Dubai. I want to be in Paris. I want to be in different countries as well.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know how long it's gonna take. And I know it's gonna happen.
If you had to compare, what kind of restaurant do you want to grow? Like, what would you compare it to? Like the growth of someone that we've seen like grow to hundreds and hundreds of locations?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
Heck yeah. Which they're great. Like service, time, like I think
Philosophy, culture.
for like a fast food restaurant, they
Yes.
are just like, it's not even close.
Yes.
Like I almost compare, like even though the time and like the setup is kind of like fast food of like McDonald's like that, but like
Yes.
they're like the fast casual, like they're at the top tier of that.
They are.
I
They
love that.
really
That's a great comparison. And they have
Yes.
locations everywhere.
Yes.
And they only operate 6 days a week, which is crazy.
Imagine they make you crave on Sundays and because they're closed.
And it's like you only ever want Chick-fil-A and it's Sunday. It's like,
Yes.
oh. But
Oh
I
my
respect
gosh, I
them for
gotta wait
sticking.
for
Like
tomorrow.
imagine what their profit could be like if
Yes.
they had one extra day a week. Like it's insane.
I know it is, and that's what is make you like to think that like the wow, like oh, I'm craving and the service. I mean, the service is great. The culture is great. Back in 2020, when I was about to open our second location, I thought about like, okay, how I'm gonna grow Paco's because I have this within me, this feeling of doing more and make it bigger and help more people through the path of Paco's. And I was like, okay, I told my husband, I'm going to go and work for Chick-fil-A. So I submit my application to start working for Chick-fil-A in the kitchen, and they accept me to work for them.
What
So,
year is this?
2020.
2020, you run a restaurant. You run one
I
restaurant.
was about to open the second one.
And you're like, you know what I need to do? I need to go work at Chick-fil-A.
Yes. I was like, yeah, I need to work for them because I really want to learn. I didn't have no one who teach me, guide me, or a mentor or someone who come and tell me like, Seni, you're failing on this, but also you can do this and all that. But I had that feeling within me like, we can do so much better. And let me see like, because my husband, he introduced me to Chick-fil-A. And I really love it and I like it. And I was like, okay, I go there and I only stay like 7 minutes in line. And it's that quick and it's clean and it's efficient and it's fresh. I want that for Paco's. I submit my application and 3-4 weeks later, I start working with them. And honestly, if I were not having my business, I would stay with them, probably working for them for so long because I love the culture.
How long did you work there?
I worked probably for not very long. It was not very long.
Like a month or two?
Around like almost 2 months probably.
Just to like get the like, hey, how does this work? And
Yes.
you know, you're going to learn.
Yes.
Which I think is a very like that's telling of you.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, if I want to grow a big business. So you were the owner of Paco's,
Yes.
but what were you doing at Chick-fil-A?
I was actually on the bread area, and that's how you started. This is insane. I was just on my area doing the bread, taking the bread from the bag and putting some butter and then put it in the machine and take it from when they got out of the machine and put it in a piece of plastic and keep it there warm until it's ready to put the piece of chicken. And no. I stayed there pretty much the whole time.
But you're just like learning from being around
Yes.
in like a really efficient restaurant.
Oh
space.
my gosh,
Okay,
yes.
wait, this is 2020?
2020.
Before COVID?
Before COVID.
Okay, so like-
No. It was during COVID. It was during COVID. Yes.
Okay, so give me a rough scope, like, you know, give me an estimate. How much money in annual sales was your Paco's restaurant doing roughly then?
2 million, I think.
You own a restaurant that's doing $2 million in sales every year.
Yes.
And you decide to go be the bread lady at Chick-fil-A to
Yes.
just learn.
Yes.
That's awesome. Like, that's the thing that entrepreneurs, like, some people, it's like, you can teach a lot of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
It's like, you can't really teach that, I don't think. Like, the willingness to just submit. It's like, you're already running a successful restaurant. And it's like, the person who's managing you, like, who's probably like the shift leader or whatever at Chick-fil-A is like, not anywhere close to like, owning a restaurant doing $2 million a year. And you're like, you know what? I'm just going to be a novice. I'm going to learn everything there is to learn. Do this for a month or two, just so you can pick up how to be really efficient and run a good restaurant.
Yes.
That's awesome. Like, that is just like the entrepreneurial spirit. And I know you talked about earlier, right? It's like high school, like that was tough to get through. Like, didn't end up happening. Your curiosity and relentlessness and like just willingness to go learn.
Yes.
Like, that's so amazing. That's why I'm betting on Paco's. You guys are gonna like, come on, that's it. So you do that for 2 months, and then what learnings do you bring back to your restaurant?
To be more efficient. And of course, I was like with a lot of information at that time. It was just me taking the decisions, doing much. And I had my team, but my team, it was not the people who was prepared for making those big adjustments. My son, he was working with me. I was telling him, of course, like, hey, we gotta do things this way. And he only could do so much. He was so young. And I was like, I'm gonna do this. And my husband and I, we went to California, and I went to this restaurant that the owner is Mexican, and he owns like 30 restaurants, something like that. And I really liked that restaurant. When we came back, I got COVID. So immediately from the airport to driving home, I was feeling with fever and all that. So I isolated myself at the basement. 2 days that I stayed there, I was thinking, how I'm gonna grow Paco's, how I'm gonna grow. I really have this desire. I have this in my heart. So I started stalking this Mexican restaurant owner from California. The name of the restaurant is Mama Por Dios, actually. I was like, he might have probably a comment or a tag that probably he has a mentor, a coach, or someone who works with him that I can contact this person, and this person will help me to bring someone with value that can bring value to Paco's. That's what I did. And I find a person that it was in his team. I sent a message on Instagram like, hey, my name is Seni, and I own Taquerias, and I am looking for a person who can help me to elevate my business in these areas. And I know you're working for this person, but probably you know someone. And like an hour later, he replied my message and said, like, yes, I know someone. Share with me your number, and this person is going to call you around 2 hours. So, yeah, somebody called me. I started working with that guy. He was my advisor.
Like a business coach, advisor?
Business coach, advisor, yes. Talking with him, I told my story, how I started and everything. He saw my desire, and he was like, you know what, Seni? Like, you need a person that really can bring, of course, a lot of value and is very smart in different areas where you need, we're not as good. You're good on a lot other things, but what is your like not that strong part, you need that person there.
Yeah, because it's like that's like the age-old thing with entrepreneurs, right? It's like if you really needed to go learn how to be all right at every piece of the business, like accounting or whatever, right? It's like, you could probably do it.
Yeah.
But like, would exponential growth happen if you focused on your best areas and hired around the places that you need more help with?
Exactly. He contacted me with Joel Saucillo. He was working for Deportenis in Mexico. Deportenis is like the Nike store.
Oh.
Nationwide. So Joel, he was the person in operations managing 200 stores nationwide. And Joel, he wanted to do something different. So he was actually about to work for Walmart. And he contacted me with Joel. And I spoke to Joel again. I told him my story, my vision. And he said, you know what, Seni? I would like to work with you. I bring Joel from Mexico legally to work here in the United States. And he has been brought a lot of value to my business. Now we have an office. Now we have, he's my integrator. I am the visionary.
EOS?
Yes, EOS.
Yeah. See, that's crazy. That's amazing. I would not have expected when I came in and it's like, okay, Seni runs some restaurants, for you to say integrator and visionary EOS. Like, that's amazing. Like, so cool.
Yes.
And I'm very bullish. I'm saying, you're talking about like Dubai and, it seems a little crazy. It does not seem crazy. The way you talk about it and how you're thinking about this business. Obviously, I'm the Indiana guy, but like I'm betting on you guys to go take over the world when it comes to taquerias. Amazing. Yes. What is, when you think about the future, what is your vision for Paco's Tacos?
My vision is to keep developing leaders at Paco's. Leaders. I want people to excel because it was hard for me, right? Somehow, example, school, because I have to take care of my kids. I have to provide. And I've been doing my own kind of education some way. Like I've been taking Tony Robbins program for a year. I've been traveling to take programs as well outside of here in Indiana. I've been in Mexico taking programs. I've just been reading podcasts, audiobooks, everything that I can to keep learning, of course, and keep this desire of mine to keep learning. This is what I really vision for Paco's, like people who can come and work with us, have that opportunity of learning, step up, being out of the comfort zone. That is what I really vision for my people, for my team. And this is what little by little is taking us forever, because to grow from one taqueria to 4 it's a lot of investment, and it's a lot. It's very painful. People might think like it's easy. It is not. It is huge. It's been painful. I have been bleeding. I have been crying so many times. Many learning experiences. And when I say this, because Tom Morales from Morales Group, I had a lunch with him one time, and he was like, I hear some of your story, and I know you're part of the Halo app as well. So talk to me. Tell me your story. And he told me, and I've been getting this from into my heart since he told me this. Tell your story. Keep telling your story, because it matters, because you've been doing great. Because I was telling him, I've been making these mistakes, huge mistakes. And those, Seni, are not mistakes. Those are called learning experiences. And I was like, oh, thank you. So he shifted my mentality of thinking and feeling like guilty of like, no, it's okay to fail. Because when you fail, you learn from it and you grow from it and you move on and you really get it, like how you want to excel, how you want to do better in this life. And you have so much opportunities, and I am so great doing network as well. I love to meet people. I love to connect people. I love when people really help each other to do whatever is convenience for each other to really grow and elevate. And I just been doing all these kind of things that are being helping me, but also making beautiful and strong relationships. And I love it because somehow a lot of people is being the dime on me, like, I bet that you're gonna be doing amazing. Seni, I want to help you with this. I feel humbled to say, like, example, Mike Cunningham from the Cunningham group, he's my mentor. You know, not a lot of people has those opportunities. Not a lot. I do. And I feel blessed, and I feel humbled that God put this part of within me to really like excel and do more and help more people through the path. I'm just so excited.
I love
all
it.
this, it makes me like be very passionate about Paco's and entrepreneurial path.
Well, and the way you talk about your boss at Radio Latina and like how it's just like the opportunity you were given, and then the way you're talking about you want to develop young leaders, you want to develop these leaders, like, and create a workplace. I think it just speaks to the person you are and the company that you're building. It's like your goal wasn't to, you know, have 1 million taquerias in every, like, be the Starbucks.
It is.
But it is.
It is,
But like,
absolutely.
but like how you're gonna get that outcome is by giving people a place that they actually want to show up for work.
Yes.
And they can develop and get similar opportunities to what you were given.
Exactly.
And what you continue, like when, you know, Cunningham Group is your mentor, Mark. Mike Cunningham is your mentor. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So I thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story here. We are rounding out the episode, and we have some fun questions to ask at the end. I think your passion has just been, I mean, it's just been displayed, and I'm pumped up, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for Paco's. We're going to start with our younger years segment. So this is a chance for you to pass some words of wisdom on to the 22-year-olds that are listening to the podcast here. So this section is brought to you by our friends at Or Fellowship. They're a great organization here in Indiana helping develop young business leaders across the state. Seni, what advice would you give to your 22-year-old self?
Don't give up. And I know everybody's saying this. And I feel like the very, very first one, it's to be conscious about life, about yourself. When you're conscious about life, by yourself, about what you have been doing, what are you doing right now, is what is going to take you to the next levels.
I love that. That's great advice. Like, know where you are. Like when you're conscious of like, hey, I have 3 kids. I can't be an $8 an hour radio DJ. Like, it's just not going to work. Or from the time when you're like, I'm cleaning houses for 2 weeks. Like, this is not what I want to do. Like, kind of like, and how you're going to go to the next level. I love that. That's great advice. What's your favorite menu items at Paco's Tacos?
Tacos tapatios.
What is that?
Those are the best. The tacos that it comes with birria and cheese and cilantro and onions, and you dip them in the consomme. Those are great. Those are
all right.
really, really
we're going to
good.
have to put that on the list to try next time we're there. Okay, here's a fun one. What's the best place to get a margarita in Indianapolis?
Oh, you know what? I am not a fan of margaritas.
Oh.
I am not, but you guys have to go to El Toro in the Southport.
El Toro in Southport?
Yes, El Toro in Southport.
Why El Toro?
Because my friend Luz, she is the owner. And not only that, they are very hard workers, but also the food is great. And they do, if you're talking about margaritas, actually are the only ones that I like from them.
Oh, so those are the only ones you like.
And I am not fun. I'm not saying that I'll go and I drink 5 of it. No, I can drink 1. But if I go any other places, I don't know. I don't like them.
Is there a different beverage of choice?
Yeah, it is. It is. But I am more fan of the mezcal than...
Oh, the mezcal? Yes. Okay, where's the best place to get mezcal in Indy?
The most prominent Mexican restaurants.
And there's not one that's like the favorite?
El Toro.
Okay.
And some restaurants of them. El Mesón, I think they do have also mezcal as well. I am fan of mezcal. I love mezcal.
Okay, mezcal. Yes. Okay, so I will say I'm not probably a tequila or a mezcal. I don't love it, but I was down in Medellin, Colombia, like 2 months ago, and I had to just look it up. It was called Antioquia of Aguardiente.
Aguardiente.
Yeah, they have a
it's kind of like. It's not the same, of course, not even the flavor is the same, but it's like mezcal and aguardiente. It's kind of like the same thing for the village, you know?
It was so crazy. It was like and I was like, oh, this is delicious. And don't know if I would ever find it. I don't know if I'll go back to Colombia and have it again, but it was fantastic. So that's my good choice for down there.
I have a Colombian friends and they're so fun. Yeah.
It was amazing. Like I was down there and I'm like obviously like always talking about Indiana and like, but I just go out and see stuff so that I can come back and make comparisons and like,
awesome. It's
great to go out there and see it. It does. By the end of I spent a week over there. I'm not Spanish speaking at all. Like I did like a 30-day streak on Duolingo. So like I have like a preschool level. And by the end of it, I was like, man, I just miss talking to people in English. Like, cause I'm over there just like, they're like my buddy is translating for me and I just like smile and like, see.
No.
Yeah, exactly. What's the one ingredient you can't live without in your kitchen? Garlic.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay. What's your favorite dish to make?
I am actually very good cooking Mexican traditional food because I'm coming from that. My family back in Mexico, that actually I get to say it. My grandpa, he was a great businessman. He was very, very successful and he started very similar of how he started Paco's, a very little restaurant, and then he ended up with real estate and probably like 4 different businesses.
Oh, wow.
So he was just great, but I get it from my family. And my grandma, she always said that garlic is what it gives the flavor.
I like that. I agree. I love some garlic. Okay, final 3 questions of the day. We ask these to every guest that's sitting in that chair. What's something that the world needs to know about Indiana?
People needs to know that Indiana is the fastest state growing with the small businesses. We are the fastest in the whole nation. And we have the best schools in Fishers and Carmel. of the whole nation as well. Not only that, we have the best people in the government here. That's why we grow financially so quick here in Indiana. We are very conservative, but at the same time, it's a great state to make money. And it's a family state.
I love that.
I love Indiana. I mean, I'm coming from Delicia, Chihuahua, Mexico, but Indiana is my home. Indiana is my heart. And it has given me so much that I am beyond grateful. I have no words to say how thankful I am to be here and to be all these years in this state.
Heck yeah. I love that. Yeah, that's a mic drop right there. Final two questions. What is a hidden gem in Indiana?
Super tortas.
What is Super Tortas?
Super tortas. I love super tortas. Well, and actually, the owner is my friend.
Is it the world's smallest torta shop? Is that the one that's right out here?
No, here around here, no.
Not this one?
No, on Bellevue and 16th on the west side.
And what is a torta?
A torta is a piece of bread, not like a baguette. Actually, this piece of bread, we call it telera. And they do that tortas like the sandwiches, like in Mexico City. And it's so good. You guys have to go there.
All right, Super Tortas. This is over on Michigan.
Michigan and Bellevue on the west side.
Yep, I see it. Okay.
Yes.
I love that. We're going to put that one on the list. Final question. You get to give a shout out to somebody else here. Who is a Hoosier that we need to keep on our radar?
Besides Mike, because he's doing great things, Mike Cunningham, I would say Diego Morales.
Diego Morales? Can you give us a 30-second intro of who that is?
Diego Morales is our Secretary of State. What I feel like this with him is because he is the first Latino in the history of the United States, of the government, to become Secretary of State, not being born in the United States. But he's been doing a great job. And also the story behind his story is also very strong. It's a lot that your 22-year-old audience can really get inspired as well to one day probably be the governors of Indiana or to do something else in that politics. Why not? That's why we're growing here so fast in Indiana, because overall we've been having great people being the leaders of this state.
I love it. Seni, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a wild ride from coming when you were 14 to Chicago, then to Indiana, dropping out of high school, starting this business and growing it, and what the future holds. Again, I've said it all episode. I'm so bullish on Paco's Taqueria and what you guys are going to build here. Where can people connect with you?
LinkedIn, Instagram. Instagram is more family thing, more personal, but it's open actually. It's not a private, my page is not private. And LinkedIn, absolutely.
Heck yeah. And I hope this is a story that helps inspire and motivate others, that like those circumstances you might be going through, like finding a way through those, to overcome those and to achieve your goal, and to keep being hungry to go build cool things that are going to help inspire the next generation. So thank you so much for sharing your story. And we'll make sure to stop by any of the 4 locations. We'll have them in the show notes. Make sure you stop by and support Paco's Taqueria, or your next event. Call out the truck. Get them to chef up some amazing food for you. So thank you, Seni.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Get In. If you liked what you heard, make sure you leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. This show is made possible by our friends up at Sweetwater. Whether you're trying to start your own podcast or looking to take your show to the next level, make sure you check out sweetwater.com for all your creator needs. If you want exclusive behind-the-scenes content on all things Indiana, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nate Spangle. Thank you for being part of what makes the Hoosier State so amazing. We'll see you next week here on Get In.